Dr. Zexthor watched through the observation window as the human child, now a young adult, welded another panel onto what could only be described as an abomination of engineering. 23 cycles had passed since the council had assigned the orphaned human to his household, and in that time, Marcus Chen had proven to be both a blessing and a profound source of confusion. "It's ready," Marcus announced, pulling off his welding mask and grinning at the assembled family. His adoptive parents, 2 siblings, and even his grandparent unit had gathered in the private hangar bay, drawn by curiosity and something else. Something Zexthor was beginning to recognize as concern. The spacecraft before them defied every principle of galactic standard engineering. It was asymmetrical, cobbled together from salvaged parts, discarded hull plating, and what appeared to be a food synthesizer repurposed as a coolant system. By all calculations, it shouldn't function. More accurately, it should explode spectacularly upon ignition. "Marcus," Zexthor began carefully, his vocal sacs inflating with parental anxiety. "We've discussed this. The mathematics are correct," Marcus interrupted, wiping grease from his hands. "I've checked them 47 times. She'll fly." Zexthor's mate, Velsha, clicked her mandibles nervously. "Darling, perhaps you should submit the designs to the Engineering Guild first? They have centuries of experience." "They said it was impossible," Marcus replied, his tone carrying that peculiar human stubbornness that had frustrated teachers across 3 academic institutions. "They said a single being couldn't design, build, and pilot a faster-than-light capable vessel without a team of specialists and a corporate sponsor. They said humans were too new to space to understand the complexities." He patted the hull with genuine affection. "So I proved them wrong." The family exchanged glances. In galactic society, individual achievement was respected, but communal success was paramount. The idea that one being, especially one so young, could accomplish what required entire departments was not just unlikely, it was unseemly. "The test flight is scheduled for tomorrow," Marcus continued. "I've already filed the flight plan with Station Control." That night, Zexthor convened an emergency family meeting, excluding Marcus under the pretense of adolescent rest requirements. "The ship represents significant value," his eldest offspring, Krenak, observed. "If it functions as claimed, the patents alone could sustain our household for generations." "He built it under our roof," Velsha added thoughtfully, "using tools we provided, materials we helped acquire. Surely there's a legal precedent for shared ownership?" Zexthor felt his chromatophores flush with shame, but the practical concerns overrode his discomfort. Humans were still considered a probationary species, restricted in their legal rights until they proved their stability. Marcus was technically a ward of the state assigned to their care. And if the ship worked, truly worked, the implications were staggering. "We should contact an advocate," his parent unit wheezed from the corner. "Establish our claim before the test flight. For the family's prosperity, for Marcus's own protection, the corporations would devour him." It was rationalization, and they all knew it. But it was also true. The next morning, Marcus arrived at the hangar to find his family already present, along with 3 legal advocates and a representative from the Engineering Guild. His smile faded. "What's this?" Zexthor stepped forward, documents displayed on his data slate. "Marcus, we've been consulting with legal experts. Given your age and status and our role as your guardians, we believe it's appropriate to establish a partnership agreement regarding your achievement." Marcus's expression went carefully blank, a human trait Zexthor had learned to fear. A partnership. "The ship was built with family resources," Krenak explained. "We'd retain 40% ownership, you'd have 60%, and we'd handle all legal protections and commercial negotiations." "I see." Marcus walked slowly around the assembled group, studying each face. "And if I refuse?" One of the advocates, a spindly Vexnari, fluttered his wing cases officiously. "As a probationary species member under guardianship, your right to independent commercial activity is limited. The family could petition for full ownership based on dependency laws." For a long moment, Marcus said nothing. Then he laughed, a short, bitter sound. "You know what's funny? In all the human stories about aliens, it's usually humans who are the greedy ones, the expansionist conquerors, the corporate exploiters." He looked at Zexthor, and the disappointment in his eyes cut deeper than any blade. "I actually believed you were different." He walked to his ship's access panel and input a command. The vessel hummed to life, systems glowing. The ship has a genetic lock, Marcus said quietly, keyed to my DNA. It won't fly for anyone else. I built her alone in my spare time, with materials I purchased from my research stipend and parts I salvaged from the recycling yards. I have receipts for everything. I asked for your tools and hangar space, and you gave permission freely. Those conversations are recorded in the household logs. He turned to face them fully. But here's the thing about humans that maybe you didn't learn in your xenology classes. We remember who stands with us, and we remember who doesn't. You taught me about family, about trust. I guess I was a better student than you were teachers. The ship's engines began their startup sequence, a sound that shouldn't have been possible from such a Frankenstein assembly of parts. I'll be filing for emancipation when I land on New Terra, Marcus continued. They're actively recruiting human engineers. Apparently, we have a reputation for innovative thinking, which I now understand is code for doing what everyone says is impossible. He climbed into the cockpit, then paused. If it helps your conscience, Zexthor, I don't hate you. I'm just disappointed. You could have celebrated with me. Instead, you saw an opportunity, the canopy sealed. The engines roared, a sound like thunder compressed into crystal. And then impossibly, the ramshackle vessel lifted, rotated with grace that defied its appearance, and shot through the hangar's atmospheric shield into the black. Zexthor watched it go, his 3 hearts suddenly heavy. Beside him, Velshaw whispered, "What have we done?" The Engineering Guild representative was already pulling up tracking data. Remarkable. The efficiency readings are, this shouldn't be possible. The design paradigm is completely novel. But Zexthor wasn't listening. He was watching a small, mismatched ship disappear among the stars, carrying away not just a brilliant young engineer, but the trust of someone he had called son. In his quarters later, Marcus Chen would record in his log, "Today I learned that humanity's greatest strength isn't our engineering or our stubbornness. It's that we know the difference between family and ownership. The galaxy is going to learn that lesson too, one human at a time. And far behind him, a Zelathi family would begin the long process of understanding that sometimes the most alien thing about humans wasn't their biology or their recklessness. It was their unshakable belief that some things, loyalty, trust, and the fruits of one's own labor, could never be claimed by others, no matter how logical the justification seemed."